Leisure Suit Larry Reloaded. This is basically a remake of Leisure Suit Larry in the modern age. Just got released today, so it's brand spanking new, and I had to do a review of this. So basically, Leisure Suit Larry was a game that was originally made by a company called Sierra Online, and you can see a video review of Sierra Online on this video channel. And it was actually really risque for its day and age. It was basically the object of the game was to get lucky, and to find, and I mean by lucky, to get lucky with a woman, if you know what I mean. Haha, haha. So yeah, it was pretty risque for its day and age, and it's an adventure game. And basically, there hadn't really been much out that was like it. You know, it was part comedy, part adventure. But yeah, it sold really, really well, and it was actually one of the first proofs of software piracy when they actually sold more hint books for the game than they did copies. So the game actually did very well, you know, financially, and you know, it was actually so it was more of an adult game. You had to be over 18 to play it, although that didn't stop me when I was a kid. I found my ways to play it, but yeah, it had a lot of adult content, but it wasn't necessarily raunchy or anything like that. I mean, it was more comedic than anything else. But yeah, so I really enjoyed the game back then, and then they had a remake of it back in the 90s, what they called the VGA version. And the VGA version, you know, still is a little bit dated by today's standards, but it has this point-and-click mouse interface, which Sierra Online later implemented. Before they actually had this moving character, and it was with CGA and EGA graphics. You know, the most you could get was 16 colors, and you had to type everything that you do. So yeah, the VGA version by today's standard is still pretty dated. But this version's great. It's made in 2013. You can play it on high definition and resolutions from like 1920 to 1080. You also got, you know, voice acting here. All the parts are voice acting. You don't have to read it, which I find really actually makes it really interesting, because you just want to touch and click everything and just hear what it, you know, what it's going to say, the narrator's going to say. There's just always something quirky. So first of all, let me just sort of summarize what I think about this game so far. I think it's fantastic. I think if you've played the Sierra games before, you'll love this. You know, it's totally worth playing, even if you played Leisure Suit Larry and beat it before. It was such a long time ago, I don't really remember all the details of everything, but I'm really enjoying it. And it's, you know, there's things in there that they've added from the old game. They've modernized it in certain ways. There's some, you know, they make some jokes that are pretty much to today's culture, because, you know, some of the stuff, hey, you know, back in the 80s when the game originally came out, that people might not even get those jokes today. But if you're not familiar with the Leisure Suit Larry series, I think this game is still great. I actually think that's really sort of the target market for this game, is for people who are not, you know, familiar with Sierra Online games, to all of a sudden be familiar with, you know, with the Sierra Online series, which, you know, are still, in my mind, you know, really good games. Even the older games are still really good, but a lot of people won't enjoy them because they'll write them off just because the graphics are outdated. So, you know, if you actually look at my video review on Sierra Online games on this channel, I go into why you still play Sierra Online games, and how you can play them in all different ways, like the multiplayer version, the fan-base made games and stuff like that, getting them from GOG, getting them for free. I still think there's a lot of reasons, but, you know, I understand a lot of people would still write those games off in today, and basically, you know, they'd write off on the basis of graphics, or, you know, in some cases, if they're not getting a GOG version, which is plug and play, not wanting to install it. So I think this is a great game to really introduce some of the new people to the Sierra Online series, and I really hope this does well. I think it will do well financially to show some of the bigger studios out there um, that it's not always about 3D graphics, it's not always about having some sort of gimmick or new concept. It's sometimes just about having a good story and an entertaining story out there. And yeah, so and that's it. And the great things about these games, they've already got a following. They've already got people who played a lot of retro games, and they already basically yeah, they already like the game, so there's already an audience out there. So I'm hoping this does really well, because they bring back some of the other get the license for some of the other games like the Police Quest series, or the King's Quest series, Base Quest especially. That would, I think, do really well. For a version like this, which is updated. So yeah, it's I think it's going to do really well. I think this game right now is on the which is the first release, and I believe they are coming out with this for a tablet, and I think it'll make a really great game. Actually, the best version for this, I think, will be the tablet version, because it's it's a good casual game at the same time. It's not too it's not too hard, not too serious. It's funny, and the whole point and click stuff. I mean, if they figure out how to just have the person change the icons when you're or basically pointing with the tablet, I think it could be really fun with the tablet, just sort of touching different areas of the screen, and that could really make it interesting and interactive. But yeah, I think it'll do really well with the tablet, and I think this will actually introduce a lot of people to the Sierra Online games, and actually sort of get past their biases, and to say it's just it's about a good storyline. Now, as far as the graphics do look really good for what it is. It is still a 2D game. In some spots you can tell it's it's not made by a big studio. I mean, even though things are done very well, it does look, some spots it looks like a Flash game, a very well done Flash game, or a very high-end shareware game for sure. But still, it's still very good, and the artwork is great, for what they're working with. So I definitely think, yeah, you can tell that it does show sometimes that it's not a big budget game. So they basically got this. They had a Kickstarter project. So this was actually the original owner, Al Lowe. He actually hold on a second. I'm just stuck here. Why am I stuck? Okay. Yeah. So Al Lowe was the original designer of this game back in the 80s. He actually got this Kickstarter project, which is like a crowdsourcing, and basically people donated to make this game happen, and would get a free copy or something like that, or get certain benefits or perks with it. And so this game was funded and supported by the community. I can't remember the exact amount they raised. I think it was about 600,000 or something like that, which is pretty good. But yeah, so they basically, he got some funding. So it's not a big budget game, but it's still great. Like I said, they're just a lot of attention to detail. It's been a long time since I played the first one. Some of the things, like I said, look pretty familiar. Like if you touch certain things or certain classical jokes, they'll be the same. But I'm pretty sure there's certain things that are pretty are pretty new. So yeah, it's a really good mix of keeping some of the old classic version of Leisure Suit Larry, and also keeping some of the modernizing and making it a little bit newer. So I think it's a really good mix here on how they do things. The game, I think the price point, I think, could be a little bit better. It's about $20 right now. I think, to me, $15, $14.99 would have been a nice sort of a nicer number. I think it's worth it, but I mean, I think in terms of perception, people might think, oh, $20 they can still get like an older PlayStation game for that amount. I think, go out and get something like Demon's Souls. Why would you get this game. And this game, as I remember, it's not a super long game. You know, you can, you know, if you know what you're doing, you can go through it quite quickly. Actually, I wonder if this thing has the boss key. So there was this funny thing actually before. In the old Leisure Suit Larry, they called it the boss key, and basically what that was, and I don't think a lot of people knew what that was. It confused the hell out of me when I was a kid. Was that basically you'd be playing this game, and if you held, you press like Alt B or something like that, or Control B, all these graphs and would come up, and the whole purpose of it was that if you're playing this at work, that all of a sudden your boss walks by and it makes it look like you're doing work, and then you couldn't do anything. The game would actually freeze up. So it was meant as sort of emergency button, but I don't think it was actually functionally really meant to fool your boss. It was just meant to more of a quirk as a joke. And of course I played this game when I was a little kid, when I was working, and I was like, I had no idea what that did. So this game also has an adult protection, which when you start on the game, you have to actually answer a series of questions, and it assumes that if you know the answer to those questions that you are an adult. Now let me tell you, so I did those questionnaires. I failed I think like 2-3 times before I finally got in the game. So I'm definitely getting, you know, losing intelligence or just getting stupid as I get older, because I didn't know a lot of the answers to that. So but I did the exact same thing that I did when I was a kid. It has those questionnaire like that when I was a kid, and asked you different questions. And all I did when I was a kid was I would just try multiple times, and then, you know, it'd give you multiple choice, and then I'd find which ones are the multiple choice are the correct answers, then I'd memorize them, and then basically just get in that way. So it's not really an effective kid-proof thing, but I think they just did it back then as sort of, you know, to not get sued or something like that, to say, hey, you know, they're trying to do the job to block kids or have something in place, and now it's just there more as sort of as a quirk, especially sort of as a tradition in today's age. I mean, but especially, you know, you'd be smart enough just to Google stuff, which eventually on some of this stuff I just had to. I was just like, what is that? So yeah, so here I'm talking up some of the ADs. So yeah, it's a fun little game. Like I said, it's not really as sexual as, you know, at least as it makes the topic seem that it is. It's more comedy, and you know, especially in this day and age, it's not really anything. But back in the 80s, it was a big deal. Yeah. So anyways, I would encourage you to check out this game. It's you know, a different type of game for the modern gamers, and I'm, you know, channel here is against the grain here, and I'm all about promoting alternative games, things that don't get the attention that like some of the big pseudo games do, or something that's not common. And I think this is it's a great game. It's just fun. Like I said, you just you know, even though I know what happens in some spots, like I played this game before, I just end up clicking on everything and just to hear the funny responses, you know, and it truly feels like an interactive movie, and that's basically what's here online. Games felt like they weren't open world, they were still, you know, very sandboxy, but it felt like an interactive movie, a movie that you're playing a part on. So I'd encourage you to check it out, Leisure Suit Larry, and Reboot. So I'm going to just turn up the volume, and I'm going to be quiet for a while, and I'm just going to play through some of the games so you can actually see some of the graphics and the music all intertwined together. So that's it for me. Happy gaming.
Play your cards right, Larry, and maybe you'll be able to do that.
Pardon me for saying, but you have a lovely figure.
I saw you looking at my breasts. That's okay. It's only natural. Besides, I'm proud of them. I'll stack them up against anybody else's.
Oh man, fun! Gee, you smell terrific. Hey, sweetheart, what's your sign?
Octagonal. As in, stop.
I like that. You're fast.
No, I'm not fast, but I'm worth every minute of the wait.
Woohoo, Larry.
I'd really like to get to know you better. What kind of girl are you?
I'm just a girl who can't say no
All right, Larry, this is what you've been waiting for.
to nice presents.
Oops.
Okay, baby. I'll be back soon. With presents.
Enjoy your evening, sir or madam.
He's overcome with sorrow at your departure. He's not saying it in words so much, but you can really tell from his expression.
If I hurt you, then I got paperwork. And that's not my bag of, understanding how to do it.
I could be that big and muscle-bound if I wanted to. I just don't want to, is all.
You can't get in, and even if you could, who would want to come look at you?
The management humbly bequests that you not perform any excretorial functions in front of the building.
Welcome to the Come and Go. We only carry up to $20,000 cash in the safe. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. Never in my life do I hope to smell anything again as vile as your present exhalations.
You can't do anything with this machine. It seems to be stuck in permanent demo mode. You pick up the phone, and to your delight, you get a dial tone. This thing must be set to free play.
Thank you for calling the 555-1234 Hot to Trot chat line. Now, swinging singles like you can chat one-on-one with other swinging singles, also like you. There's nothing hotter than guys who spend their Saturday nights at home, paying $2.99 a minute to make awkward small talk with invisible strangers, most of whom are other guys. You're also invited to call our psychic legal hotline. Press 2 now to get real legal advice from a psychic. Or press 3 now to get psychic readings from a real lawyer. Or press 4 now to connect with our tractor-trailer trekking institute. You can earn fast money driving big rigs for 48 hours straight on nothing but coffee and Slim Jims.
All lines are down for maintenance. Please try again later. Thank you.
Taxi!
What the hell have you been eating? Rotten corpse with 40 cloves of garlic? You again? Oh, Sal and Dispatch must be playing a nasty trick on me. All right, $19. Thanks, kid.
stinky breath today.
Ah. Hey, baby. Are you from the Caribbean?
No, why?
'Cause Jamaican me crazy.
Oh, that's cute. How you made a pun using the name of a country. Let me see if I can do that. Your attempt to pick me up is real pathetic. It makes me think you don't have a Bahrain in your head.
That's, pretty good.
Now leave me alone, turkey!
So, hiya, baby. I hope you own a black cat, because I'd like to get familiar with you.
Wow! I've never heard that one before. That is really cool!
Thank you. Then let's blow this pop stand and take this party downside.
I can't. The Lost Wages basketball team is coming over later, and I promised I'd do them first. Maybe some other time. You're cute in a really Patsy Weber kind of way.
Oh! You mean Anson Williams?
Who's that?
The guy who plays Patsy Weber?
What do you mean, plays?
You really can pick 'em, can't you, Larry?
Your skin is as soft as silk.
Gee, thanks. I rub it with cream of some young guy every night.
I don't know what that is.
Me either, really. This guy I used to date gives it to me in unlabeled jars. He really seems to love it when I smear it all over and rub it in. I don't get it.
I think I do.
Larry, that could be you in 20 years, or much, much sooner.
You don't look like you're having much fun. I know. I should go back to my regular job. What's your regular job? I sell software. I'm just in Lost Wages to try to find true love. Tell me about it. I just did.
You cleverly make eye contact with Faith before talking to her. Look out, those things are loaded.
Did I give you permission to do that?
No. Isn't it better to just do it and ask for forgiveness later?
I'm armed.
Good point. Never mind. You are limpid pools of green. Or are you Hazel?
You know, nobody's ever done that to me before. I think I like it when a man talks to my eyes.
Faith? What a gorgeous name!
Thank you. I've always tried to live up to it.
Is that a good sign, or isn't it?
Say, Faith, I'm only in town for this one night. How about we get together when you get off duty?
You're sweet, Larry, but I don't think I could ever be unfaithful to my boyfriend.
Larry, it seems this one's going to require outside assistance.
I'll be back, baby. Don't go anywhere without me.
I'm on duty all night. See you later.
Her chestnut hair falls loosely about her shoulders, hinting that she has a more easygoing side than her manner suggests.
What caliber are those?
Highest caliber. Thanks for asking.
Oh God, Ed! Get in the closet. It's my husband.
Oh God, Ed! Get in the closet. It's my wife.
Come back later! Look, I've been waiting for an hour and that thing's not getting any harder.
Great. I just dropped the handcuff key somewhere.
Taxi!
Where am I taking you now? Lucky 21, pal. Fork it over. Thanks, kid.
Like most inanimate objects and many animate ones, it refuses to converse with you. Like most inanimate objects and many animate ones, it refuses to converse with you. You reach into the storm drain and feel around.
Jimmy Hoffa's dead body? Some box with the name Al Capone on it? And an aviator cap that says Amelia. Nope, nothing interesting.